Hey, oh my God, welcome back to Revel Culture. This is my first solo podcast for this season, and I'm really excited for it. I ask you guys to submit your questions to me, and I try to give you the best big sis or just like best friend advice that I possibly can without ever meeting you. And this is going to be the first episode for the season of Ask Alisha. Now, most of these questions that I have today are tough. They're tough. Y'all, we be going through it. Oh my God. My heart aches for some of y'all. So I'm going to be mixing it up a little bit. We're going to be addressing the tough situations. I don't know what it is today, but I'm just feeling like extra sensitive to the situations that you guys are in. I feel for you. I'm empathizing with you, and it's tough. And then I'm also going to, switch it back up. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about my boob job. Fun girly shit. So we'll try to make it light and airy, but let's get into this episode. Before I start, though, I do want to start this episode off with a prayer. Now, I know that I've never done this before, and I know that might have made someone listening to this feel a little bit uncomfortable, but I want you to know that I do not pray to make you feel trapped or judged or not good enough. I myself know exactly what it feels like to be treated that way by Christians, and that is not my intention. I am praying for me because I know that there are women who are going to take my words and take them to heart and apply them. And I just want to be sure that the words that I'm saying are what I'm meant to be saying, that they're blessed, that I'm leaving behind the bullshit that I had to deal with today, the way that I'm feeling. And so I'm not viewing these situations with my own bitterness, resentment, tiredness, judgment, etc. I'm saying the words that God needs you to hear. Does that make sense? So it's coming from a place of love. Now, if you still don't want to hear me pray, like if it's that serious, I promise it's not going to hurt my feelings if you skip forward. But I wrote this little prayer down, and I know I've never started a podcast with a prayer, but it just feels right. So let's pray. Heavenly Father, I thank you for every woman and every man listening to this podcast. I thank you for the safe space that this community has brought me for the times when I needed it, even from a stranger on the internet. And I pray that in this room and through these airwaves, that I create a safe space for everyone listening. I pray that you give me the words to speak that will touch the heart of every individual that needs to hear it, and I ask that you breathe life into the seed of courage that they need to walk in the purpose that you have given them. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right, Bookies, let's get this shit started. All right, this is a good one. Going through a separation, and it's one of the hardest things I've ever done. I'm trying to stay positive and focus on my mental health. I have good days, and some days I just fall apart and cry about the loss of someone I shared my life with and thought my life would be my life partner. I've followed you for years now, and I love how you've grown. I've always stuck to your gut feeling. I have not always stuck to my gut feeling. I know time heals everything, but how do you continue to advocate for yourself when you're down and constantly blaming yourself for choosing your own happiness? That's a really tough situation to be in. For me, when I was blaming myself for being unhappy, really what I needed to focus on and remember, I found myself just breaking the habit of feeling sorry for myself and reminding myself that in the situation of being single, like this area of being single was better than being treated the way that I was being treated in the past relationship. If a situation has ended, whether it was, if you're the one who ended it, there are reasons that you ended it. You need to remember those reasons. If you are on your own, chances are you're going to be treating yourself better than the way that you were being treated before. Now, if the situation ended and it wasn't up to you, because of everything that I've gone through, but I believe that the situations that do not work out for you open up the doorways for the situations that will work out for you. And I believe that because I've seen it. Now, I know that seeing is believing for most people, but when you're going through something really hard, you're not going to be able to get through to the other side of it if you do not have faith. You've got to have faith that what you're about to walk through is going to lead you to where you need to be. It is okay to cry. It is okay to feel sorry for yourself. I mean, I cried for the first few months when I left my toxic situation, of course. I cried not for like every day, but there would be a situation maybe even a year later where I would just cry. You're mourning the loss of a person that you had written the entire rest of your entire book with. But the chapter ended and you didn't even mean it to. And you're like, what the fuck? That's okay. Now what you get to do though is make every chapter after that better. That's how you're going to build the hope, okay? That the life that you're about to have without this person that you wanted to have it with is going to be better than with them. So what does that look like? I mean, I encourage you to take a second to actually sit down and write this down or type it out. What does your day-to-day look like? What does it look like when you wake up in the morning? What do you do first thing? Well, I mean, if you aren't doing the things that you wished you were doing, what would it look like if you were? What would it look like if you were the girl that you have always wanted to be? A CEO, a multimillionaire, a woman who's loved. Write out what that day looks like. Now, really what you need to focus on is being the woman who fills the place of a man. This was really hard for me. I needed the validation of a man for most of my life. Not just a man, but parental figure, friends to like me. I was very heavily bullied and I needed my friends to like me. I allowed myself to be molded into whatever they thought I needed to be to gain their acceptance, praise, etc. Same with relationships. And what I never did was put myself in the role of the person who's loving on me. So let's say my day, my perfect day, this is how it's all going to tie in together. It looks like I wake up in the morning and the most perfect iced latte is being made for me and brought to my bed by someone who loves me. This person is hot as hell. I don't know. This person takes care of me. This person buys me flowers. This person tells me how much they love me. This person loves me exactly for who I am. I don't need to change. If I have ambitions, like I really want to lose 10 pounds, for example, that's like bare minimum. I have ambitions of going on SNL, but let's just say I really want to get in shape. I've let myself go a little bit. They motivate me. They encourage me. They're proud of me. They can't wait to see it happen. Put yourself in that position. You go up and you make yourself the best iced coffee ever. And then you romanticize that. Like, go get the best creamer your stomach can handle, Bookie. It might not be heavy cream. It might be an oat milk. That's fine. But go get that. Romanticize it. Wake up in the morning when the sunlight's beaming in through the windows. Whatever you need to do. Romanticize your workouts if you want to go lose 10 pounds. Buy yourself that new outfit. Oh, you want to lose 10 pounds? You can do it. Here's a new workout fit to inspire you, to motivate you. Add it to the card. Ultimately, it's going to work out. But write down the life that you want. What does your everyday look like? And then put yourself in the position of that person who loves you, who is loving on you. And let me tell you that the reason why that is so important is not just because it sounds great. Yeah, it sounds great. But when you love you, your standards will raise. When I started loving me and stopped trying to be the person that I thought everyone else wanted me to be, all of a sudden my standards were high. And I realized if this person is not meeting me at this standard here, I don't need you in my life. You're not adding any value to me. You're not lifting me up. You're not even meeting me here. And this is my bare minimum. Your standards will raise as soon as you start to love yourself. So it's not just important to do this because it sounds really nice. No, it's important because it will open up doors around you to allow the good people and the right people who need to be in your life who are going to lift you up. And then even like your future partner, your future person will step into that door because you're no longer going to allow someone who brings you down, who doesn't believe in you, who gaslights you, who manipulates you, who lies to you, who cheats on you, who makes you feel like you have to bend over backwards to earn love. That won't be acceptable. It just won't be. So that's why that is super important. I hope that helped. That was me rambling. I apologize. How to have good communication with your partner or your spouse. Sometimes I feel like my point doesn't get across and I don't want to come off as nagging either. You know, there's a book that I highly recommend. It's called Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. I highly recommend that you read it and that your partner reads it as well. It is life-changing. I think it's like a 35-year-old book, maybe even a 40-year-old book. But the author must be some kind of omnipresent ass dude, because he knows. He knows, okay? It is so intelligent the way that he explains how a man's mind works versus a woman's mind. And having your partner read it as well, hopefully you can get them to do this. I was in a relationship where it was very hard to get the man that I was with to want to change. So I hope that you're not in that situation. But what I would do is I would word it like, don't say, I wish you understood me better, because you'll find this out in the book. But that implies to a man that you are not good enough the way that you are, and you should be better. They don't like to hear that. Men do not like to hear that. I don't think anyone does, but a man especially. So what you got to say is, hey, I found this book. I've been reading it, and it's really helped me understand why da-da-da-da-da. I would really love if you read it as well, because I think it would help us connect deeper. And I love you so much. Like, it's so important to me to have good communication with you, because I never want to make you feel like you're not good enough. And maybe you say, like, I want you to confirm that this book is right, you know? And maybe y'all can read a chapter together every single night. That's my suggestion. Great book, by the way. I highly recommend. Let's see. I need some help getting over some limited beliefs that that have been stopping me and honestly holding me back. I've been watching you since you were engaged to you know who. Why'd you make it sound like Voldemort? My girl. It's the audacity. And I would always watch you and know that you had so much potential for more, and I knew that you were shrinking yourself to fit into that relationship. I can always see that potential for more in people, but it's hard to see that potential in myself and also believe that I can do hard things. Also self-confidence. I'm cute AF and hot. LOL, my man tells me all the time, but sometimes I don't see it. So I end up shrinking myself and not being as confident as I should. I don't know, maybe I'm just in my head. I just want to have a self-confidence glow up like you had, I guess. Please share tips and confidence, and also gym. Oh my God, your body is looking incredible, and I would love to work out, but I'm also shy and self-conscious in the gym. Apparently that's the word that I'm not going to say today, and that's fine. Also, I'm Brazilian, but you look more Brazilian than I do. I love you, queen, best couple out there. First of all, hi. Oh my gosh. Okay. Second of all, I have the most perfect note for you. Let me get some water. I'm overcoming a little cold, and I took NyQuil last night, you guys. I took a full dose of NyQuil. I never take a full dose of absolutely anything because I'm so small. I'm a child size. Like, let's be so for real. But I took a full dose last night, and it's 3:46 p.m. and I still feel it. It's wild. Like, honestly, I don't think I should be operating heavy machinery. But luckily, I don't live very far away. So, okay. Whoo, this is such a good one. Working on confidence is something that if you are not good at, you need to start right now. You need to start right now. Like, I remember when I was talking about them standards, once again, those standards are going to rise. Okay, so I wrote this down. I read this in a book. This book is called The Mountain Is You. Definitely recommend that book. It's a book about self-sabotage and why someone does it and how to overcome it. So this is what I wrote. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a real life situation and an imaginary one. This is going to be really important to remember when you're in your healing journey, because when you find yourself overthinking, your brain is practicing the problem. It's reliving the trauma that you've been in again and again. And the more you practice anything, whether it be subconsciously or consciously, the more you make it a habit. So when you're in a situation that reminds you of a trauma that you've had in the past, your knee-jerk reaction is going to be to react in fear. Your brain will start overthinking, you will start worrying about the problem, and you'll start to feel anxious. You're not going to be able to think clearly through the problem because you're so used to overthinking. Now, if you want to fix this, you have to start working on the optimism side of your brain, the frontal lobe, right here, where all the happy thoughts are supposed to be kicking into high gear first, okay? You've started You started the habit of thinking with fear. You need to break that by thinking with optimism. Don't think what's the worst thing that's going to happen, or oh my God, this is about to happen again, and start panicking. When you panic, you're not able to think clearly. You need to, I'm laughing because this is literally me. You need to start thinking positively. Let me explain. Whether you believe in yourself or not comes into play here. This is a factor. And if you're looking at me and you're saying, Alisha, how do I believe in myself? I've never been able to. I've never been able to commit to a diet. I've never been able to go to the gym and actually stay going to the gym. I've never been able to stand up for myself when I know that I'm in the right here. I've never been able to leave a job that I know I needed to leave. I've never been able to leave a relationship that I know I'm being taken for granted in. That right there is where you start. You need to stop saying, I can't, I won't. I've never been able to. And you need to start speaking life into yourself. Your brain is basically a computer program. You will program your brain to think the way it has been thinking. You did this. You started this program. You've applied it. Your brain has adapted, and now it's automatically, without even just like on autopilot, that's the way that it thinks. So if you want to change that, you need to be actively changing the way that you think. For example, when you have a thought, I can't do that, speak it out loud, the opposite. Yes, I can. I can do fill in the blank. There's something about this. Please actually like literally take my word for this and speak it out loud, because there's something about thinking it, saying it, and then hearing it. It's some kind of just the wonderful threesome of this thing right here, but hearing it really allows it to sneak in. Your brain will pause its little automatic computer program and say, what did she just say? Oh, weird. Okay, well, let's see if she says that again. And when you say it again, it will change. It'll like rewrite the program that you've created and start doing what you say it's going to do. So whenever you want to start believing in yourself, you know that saying that's like, whoever you want to be, show up as her? Like imagine who you want to be and then show up as her. Literally, yes. You need to start speaking about your life and the day and like what you do in your life and who you want to become as if you are already her. Oh, I'm already fit. I go to the gym. Not, oh, I want to go to the gym. No, I go to the gym. I spend 45 minutes in the gym. I do this circuit. Your brain, I swear, I promise you, when you start saying, I do this, your brain is like, oh, we do this now. Oh, we do. Like imagine all the little inside out characters in your head activating and being like, oh, we do this now. Did y'all know that? No. Okay, well, I just found out about it, but let's start doing it. And it will no longer tell you, I can't. So when you pull up to the gym and you're sitting in the car and you feel really anxious because you don't want to work out in front of people that you don't know, first of all, no one cares that much, I promise. You are telling yourself, I can't do this, because you have programmed your brain to, whenever you get into an uncomfortable situation, that trauma response is going to say, I can't do this. You need to physically say out loud, I can do this. I can do this for 15 minutes. I can go in for 30 minutes. You can do this. Start small if you got to start small. Sometimes I like to start big and then I regret my actions later. Just kidding. No, I never have. But like sometimes if you need to start small. But change the way that you speak to yourself and your brain will act accordingly. Okay, here's a good one. Just left a very long-term relationship. We just grew out of love with each other and we didn't bring out the best in each other. What advice would you give in moving forward? I know that I need time to heal and work on myself. I've been going to therapy and doing the work, but I've obviously been out of the dating game for years. So what advice would you give to someone who's trying to prepare for dating? Also, my ex wants to be friends eventually down the road, but is that crazy? I say it is crazy to be friends with your ex. I don't really care if that's controversial. You can be cordial with an ex, but to be friends with them is not okay. If you think about your future relationship, I know that sometimes in the movies, those kinds of like being friends with your ex is kind of maybe glamorized, but I just don't think it's in real life. I just don't think that it works out. I mean, unless y'all just flat out straight up, you were like, no, we literally do not work together. We are so much better off as friends, then great. But it doesn't sound like that's that situation. So in this case, No, I don't think it's okay to be friends with your ex. I think it's just like you close the door and you leave it shut. If you ever see them again, if they ever pop up again, it's fine to be cordial and be like, oh, yeah, glad you're doing well, da 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 da, move on. But not friends. That's just my opinion. Now, what advice would I give you to move forward? I would, going back to the first question where I talked about romanticizing your life, do that with yourself, but also take yourself out on dates. Like I touched on that a little bit in the beginning, but I need to do this a little bit more. I'm just so comfortable in my home. My home is so beautiful that I literally love it. I create dates in my house. But when I was single, I mean, even though my place in Dallas was quite stunning and I loved it there too, I still made it a point to take myself out to dinner and bring a book and order a glass of wine and be by myself. I'd like choose a little corner of the restaurant and I would just be by myself. I would take myself out on a date and it was really nice. I love to read. So this was a treat for me and I would buy myself a really nice meal, like whatever. But do that for you. Like, date yourself before you go on dates, because what happens when you do that is you start to learn what you like to do, what you want to do. And sometimes, like, one of the things that I wish I did better when I was in the dating scene was just date for fun. I was taking it so seriously. I was just so ready to be married, and having that like ripped out from underneath me left me reaching for the next thing, like the next husband material. And I had so many like toxic traits from being in a toxic situation for so long that I was reaching for toxic people, and that's what I got, and it was not cool. Now, if I was a little bit more confident in myself, I didn't even realize like I needed to focus on me. Like, it doesn't matter, but like I didn't realize my toxic responses were like, okay, how do I explain this? I didn't realize that the reason why I kept going to these toxic people was me. Like, I was the common denominator. I didn't realize I needed to fix me first. I was like, I'm good. Like, I'm ready to date. What are you talking about? And then I kept being attracted to the wrongest of the wrongs. And I was like, okay. So I went in with like guns blazing, and I didn't go in and have fun. Now, when I started to date myself and do what I like to do, dating became a lot more fun, especially because, I found my best friend, so we liked doing the same thing. Like, we did iFly, for example. That was a surprise date that I set up for him, and it's the thing where you're like indoor skydiving. So much fun. I like doing fun outdoorsy stuff like that, like Dave and Buster's, go-karts, laser tag, kid stuff. I'm here for it. Karaoke, I'm here for it. And I knew that because I had either done it in a connect group at church, so with friends, or I had done it by myself, for myself. And when I started to date, because I had dated myself and had so much fun with it, even just going out with my girlfriends, like that's a girl date, a girl's night out, we wouldn't just like go to the clubs, we would go do fun things. It made me excited to date other people because I'm like, oh, I get to do this again. And it's not that serious. Don't go in guns a-blazing. You're going to find when you find your person, you'll know. There is an intuition that every single one of us girlies have that is going to tell you if you like somebody. Now, if you go into the dating scene and you don't know what you like, you don't have any kind of like self-confidence in yourself, you haven't practiced the healing that I've talked about, romanticizing your life, keeping your word to yourself, etc., all this stuff, you're going to fall for everything, okay? And you're just going to you just want this guy to like you, and then you don't even, you're so busy trying to get this one guy to like you and be the type of girl that he likes, you don't even realize that you don't even like him, that you don't even want to like wake up next to him, that you don't really even want to like see him. You want his approval, but you don't want him. And that's so not fair to him. But also, like, what are we doing? Let's not do that. You know what I'm saying? So to prepare for the dating world, I would do all the things that I just said previously, and then also go in with the mindset of you're going to date for fun. It is going to be fun. And when you start catching real feelings for somebody, that's when you can take a step back and really reflect. Do I really like this person? Why? What do they bring to the table? Like, what kind of value are they adding to my life? And can I really see this working out long term? Okay, this is a good one, a very good one. And I have a feeling that there's a lot of ladies in here that are dealing with a situation like this. So I'm going to address it. This is good. Hey, girl, my boyfriend and I have an 8-month-old baby together, and we have been with each other for 2 years. He moved in with me since I have a house that my mom was so kind to let me live in before I even got pregnant. But now that he's living with me, we are expected to pay a monthly rent. Well, he had talked to me about his financial struggles and debt that he's been dealing with. I told him not to worry about rent for the remainder of the year, which was the rest of 2023. It's mid-March 2024. I do apologize. Some of these questions are old. I love you. And he still hasn't paid rent, doesn't pay any bills, doesn't worry about paying food for our baby or any necessities, doesn't pay for groceries. It all falls on me. Any trips, vacations, outings, all fall on me with the exception that sometimes he'll pay for dinner. But other than that, nothing. He's in law enforcement, so he makes a decent amount a month. I'm so prideful that I told myself that I'd never ask a man for any money, but I feel so taken advantage of by my partner. He's a great dad and he's so kind and loving, but we can't live off of that. How do I go about talking to him and making a game plan for our expenses and getting him to finally cooperate? Thanks. 10 out of 10 question. This is incredible. Now, I know a lot of women are going to read this comment and be like, you're not his caregiver, you're not his mother. I don't even need to tell you this shit. You fucking know this, Miss Ma'am. You're doing this because you love your partner. He is not reciprocating the love that you are giving him, and it's not necessarily because he's taking advantage, or no, I lied that. It's not necessarily because he's some type of like narcissist and he's just manipulating. It may be just because, why would he say no? You've given him the kind of life where he can just kick his feet back and relax. And why would he change that? You need to make it well understood that you can no longer accept this. And you don't need to do it in a way where you might need to do it in a way where you're his mama, because it sounds like you are his mama right now. But you can bring it up in this type of way. You need to create a finance that you want to spend for yourself. Maybe say, I really want to put money aside for retirement. I really want to start putting money aside for our child's college fund. It's really important to me, and I can't do that if you are not helping out with the rent. Now, I said you're good until the end of 2023. It's now, honestly, it's now July. So sorry. It's now July 2024, and you still aren't doing it. Man, you need to put your foot down. This is tough because if he's living with you, then I'm assuming that he's helping with the baby with you. But you know what? He will not change until you put your foot down. So you need to do something drastic. I would say you're not paying your rent. In any normal situation, you would be evicted by now. So I'm going to have to ask you to leave. You still have visitation rights, but you cannot spend the night. You cannot, you do not live here anymore. You need to find somewhere else to live. And then, I would have a conversation with your mom, your parents, or anyone who can, maybe your best friend who can offer more time to help you with the baby. And just say hey, I really need him to change, and I really need your help. Do you mind, helping me out for an hour or 2 hours or something like that? But gather your forces to stand behind you, because this is going to be a really tough decision. But I think that's really the best move that you need to do. In any given, like I said, in any given situation, he would be evicted by now. So you need to evict him, and you need to stand by it. I was going to say you should be hey, I'm going to have to take you to court and get some child support, but can you get child support from someone that you live with? I have no idea. Also in Texas, it's very hard to get it's not very easy to get child support, but if he's got a whole 9-to-5 job, he should be. So maybe that's another option. I don't know. It seems kind of crazy over here, but hey, we do crazy things, Bookie. Best of luck with that. But you need to put your foot down. You need to absolutely do something drastic to get it through his head, and you can do it because you love yourself. It's not about being mean to him. It's a boundary, and you need to set this for you. It's your mental health, and it's also the best thing to do for your relationship, because you're feeling taken taken for granted. Like, you don't, I mean, if he loves you, he doesn't want you to feel that way. But you've also set him up in a situation that why would he say no to? He's so comfortable you're taking care of him. Why would he ever want to change that? So you need to now make it uncomfortable for him so that he does change. And if he doesn't, I mean, I hate to say this, but that does not sound like your person. Because, I mean, you got to think about it from this situation. And this is how I've moved on with my situation with Quincy. You got to think about it as like your best friend. What would you do for your best friend? If they need your help with something, you would be there in a heartbeat. Same thing with your partner. That should be for your partner as well. If you need help with something, they got to be like, oh yeah, absolutely. Let me see what I can do. I will do the best that I can. Let me meet you there. Let me help you there. Because that's the type of person that you want to be with. This one is a little wild. I know I said I was going to like switch up the questions, but I clearly did not. I saw your TikTok post on how sad you get when Quincy leaves. I don't know why, but I don't miss anyone. My divorce really built me to have no attachments. I have a soul and a heart, and I am a sentimental woman, yet I am just like, whatever, people leave all the time. It's always just me, baby Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and God. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyways, what do you think of people that are like this? I don't know if there's a word for it. I think you've done a really good job at building a wall there. I'll tell you what, I was asking my nail guy this question too, because he's married. He's been with the same woman for about 5 years. They have a kid, a 2-year-old, and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, you know, when you've got a 2-year-old, you've been married, you've been with the same person for half a decade, there's got to be a time when, like, if they leave, you're like, whew, I can, like, balls out, relax, chill, whatever. But do you miss this person? And he was like, yes. I mean, it was an immediate yes. There was not even a thought to it. And that's how it is with me and Q. I actually don't have a moment where I'm like, whew, thank God he's not here. I just am like, damn, this is going to suck because I'm going to miss him. For me, I mean, you just said, my divorce really built me to have no attachments. You have a soul and a heart, but what you've done is created a wall to keep you from feeling an emotional attachment to somebody. And that is going to keep you safe because you're going to be in your bubble and no one can hurt you when you're in your bubble. But it's also going to keep you from feeling the love that you've always been intended to feel with this life that you're living. Like your life has a purpose, and the foundation of it is love. It's unconditional love. You're meant to receive it without fear, and you're meant to give it without fear. And because you've created this blockage, this disconnect, you're unable to even receive it fully. You allow yourself to be safe. So, oh, I'm not going to miss somebody. But guess what that does? That keeps you from from just accepting the love that you're supposed to have. I mean, your potential is right here. It's supposed to be through the sky, through the ceiling. So that's what I think. And I think that that's something that you need to work on. One of the things that helped me work on my trust issues, because is this supposed to be lower? Tell me it's supposed to be lower this entire time and I'm just over here. Listen, one of the things that really helped me with my trust issues, my 8-year relationship was an entire comfort zone for me. And it started from when I was a kid, because now I've been through therapy. I see so many similarities from my childhood to that toxic relationship that ended when I was 29. Okay, so let's just imagine, and I'm 32. That's three years of being out of that. But so the majority of my life, the majority of my life was spent in a toxic, unhealthy relationship type of thing that ultimately became my comfort zone. When I left that, I had to break 29 years of habitual thinking, 29 years of habits. And the reason why I left is, I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but one of the things that I had to remind myself over and over again when it was really, really hard for me to trust my current boyfriend, Q, and I mean really hard. Like, there were situations that I was being forced into that were setting off my trauma response left and right. Like, they were triggering like crazy. And my response to that, this is my foot, sorry, is to run. Like, run. And there were even moments when I wanted to end the relationship because I would cry and I would be like, it would be so much easier to just be single than to go through this. But I knew that I didn't leave this this toxic relationship was a comfort zone. And I left it so that I would have a better life. And in order to have a better life, I had to push through the discomfort. I had to push through the pain. I had to unlearn the toxic habits. And I had to relearn and change how I viewed myself and how I thought about myself. So my biggest thing, like the fear, the biggest like chain that kept me in my bubble was the trusting. I had anxiety. I could not trust. And I'm just like, I mean, it was so terrifying. Like, I know that saying that's like, it always comes out, like the truth always comes out, you always find out, but I wanted to be in control of when it came out. I wanted to find out. I wanted to know right away. I didn't want to just trust that it would come out and me not look stupid, especially, honestly, in front of hundreds of thousands of followers who look up to me. This was an anxiety that I can't even explain. I don't know if a lot of people can even relate to it because I don't know if you have hundreds of thousands of people that look up to you, but you might even have children. You might have best friends. You might have somebody. It might even just be you. And if it's even just you, that's enough. Okay. But I was terrified and I thought I literally can't do this. But I thought if I don't do this, even if I find the most perfect person on paper, I still won't be able to trust them. Like, even if I leave Q, because it was so hard for me to trust. And I was like, it's better if I'm just alone. It's better if I wait for someone who maybe does this, who maybe doesn't have Snapchat, for example. He has Snapchat. And I hated Snapchat. And I was like, well, I'll just wait until I find someone who doesn't have it. Even if I did, the underlining thing there was like my fear of trusting. And it would still be there. So I knew that I had to fight through it. I knew that I had to push through it. And I had to change my mindset. And my mindset was fear of embarrassment, fear of getting hurt, of course. But what I realized, I stayed consistent on my healing journey, and I was healing I was healing those fears. I was facing those fears and I was healing them. So now, like, if Q, I pray he never does this because I don't, it's not that, here's the thing. I used to say, I can't handle it. I won't be able to survive if he cheats on me. And now I say, I don't want to deal with it, which is true. The difference is I'm not saying I can't handle it because I can handle it. I will be okay if he cheats on me. I will be able to trust again because I worked on trusting, and I had to trust, not just like having faith. I have faith in him, which thank God I do, but I had to have faith in myself. I had to have faith that I will be okay. I had to have faith that the truth will come out, that God will reveal the truth in his timing, and his timing is literally always right, and it's fine. I can sit back and relax. And I have also done things to set me up to be okay. I will be financially okay. If I have to pay rent by myself, I will be okay with that because I have put money into savings, like so much money into savings. The majority of my paychecks now go into savings. I keep a very small amount in my checking account, so when I see the number, I think it's really low and I can't spend money. Trick of the trade, Buki. But I've set myself up mentally to be okay should he ever fuck up and cheat on me. I've set myself up financially and emotionally. I'm okay. I have a good group of girls around me who are going to support me. You guys have supported me. Look at you. And I'll be okay. I can honestly say 3 years ago, if someone cheated on me, I would reflect on myself. Even though I would act like I wasn't. I would be like, he's dumb. He's dumb as fuck. How could he ever cheat on me? I'm literally perfect. Look at what I bring to the table. I'm hot. I'm sexy. I can cook. I can clean. I'm perfect. Da, 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 da. But I would say these things, but I would still take it personally. What did I do wrong? Where was I not good enough? Because I've been through this healing journey and I've focused everything that I've talked about in this episode, I have done, right? I've practiced it, and I need you guys to put this into practice. Because I've done all of that, I know what I bring to the table. And if someone decides to cheat on me, if Q decides to cheat on me, it doesn't diminish my value at all. It just kind of removes his seat from the table. And is that going to suck? And is that going to be painful? Yeah. But I already know that I'm going to be okay. I already know that I'm going to be okay. It has nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? Even through my craziest days, my PMSing days, my hormonal days, like, we've been through a lot of shit. And we've touched a little bit on it, but we really haven't even touched on it. But even through those moments where, like, low lows, I know for a fact I still deserve to be loved because I've loved myself through it. I've treated myself through it. I've given myself flowers. I went to the gym anyway when I didn't feel like it. You know, I fought for the body that I have, the finances that I have, the talents that I have. And I'm talking like cooking and cleaning and just knowing things. Like I'm really smart and I'm intelligent and I think I'm great because I've worked on becoming these things and I don't deny it. You know what I'm saying? I know that sounds really cocky, but it's not. It's really not. I used to deny it for so long. The girl that you guys look at is not the girl that I used to see for the longest time. I'm so serious. I used to hate who I saw in the mirror. I used to think that I wasn't worth any kind of love. I didn't think I was worth living, to be honest. And the girl that I see now has a future. And my days look bright. Sometimes they don't, but I remind myself that I have a future and that at the bare minimum, I'm touching someone's life, which means a lot. Like that means a lot to me. My purpose, I don't think my purpose is on just to be like pretty and I want to look like you. No, my purpose is to create a community and to like not feel alone because for 29 years of my life, that was the core of my existence. I felt really fucking alone. Even in my childhood, I felt alone. And it wasn't until I became vulnerable when I was 29 and shared a video of me crying on the internet because I left a fiance and all the shit that I was going through that all of a sudden I had so many people that were saying the words that I needed to hear to survive. And now I want to be that person for somebody. Does that make sense? Why the fuck did we get all sentimental? What was the question? Wait. I have no idea how we got there. Anyways, okay. I really feel like I touched on, in general, a bunch of these questions. Sometimes, oh, I'm so sorry. Hello, are you still with me? Just beat the shit out of you. Some of these questions, the general question, like the underlining question is what I've just answered. I'm going to cut this part out. I am rambling. Yeah. So there's one. How did you open yourself to the idea of dating when you have severe trauma? It seems so hard. I want you to know that I dated. Sorry, this is my foot again. I'm like sweating, but I can't put my feet down. I have to sit cross-legged, and so now the back of my knees are sweating. You're welcome. I dated a legit narcissist, and I'm not just like throwing that word out there. He was like clinically narcissistic, personality disorder, and it was more traumatic than my 8-year relationship. No joke. Absolutely no joke. I didn't talk about it because I was so embarrassed that I even allowed myself to be treated that way, that I had fallen for it. And I was going through my own shame. And he was manipulating me. I mean, there were so many, I've never talked about it, but that was severe trauma for me. And then after that, I met Q. Can you imagine? So when I tell you these trust issues were beyond, they were beyond. This man, this narcissist did so much damage. I thought I was so ready for a great relationship after years of trauma, and now a year and a half, I have so many fears of dating. Lots of cheaters, fakes, possible girlfriend or wife. The anxiety is too much, but I'm so tired of being single. Did you have any fears about meeting someone, and how did you get past that? Sorry, it's long. That was not long, my friend. I have had novels on here. That was a paragraph. You did good, Pookie. Now, how I got past that was this entire episode. Date you. When you're ready to go out there, be out there. Friend zone people. Like, I know I joke about that and I'm like, kiki, yeah, I friend zoned Quincy and it worked out. But listen, friend zoning, and I don't even know if he realizes this, was the best thing that I did for my relationship. It was the best thing that I did for us. Because in doing so, we created this foundation of friends. I knew him. Like I grew to know him for months before we even dated. I ended up like loving him in the process, trusting him, etc. So when his ex-girlfriend was out on the internet making his Tinder profiles and then matching with my followers, which really happens, and then sliding into my DMs from a spam account saying, hey, I matched with your boy, da-da-da-da-da. Like, that was my biggest fear unlocked, especially because there were some real followers, not spam accounts, that were like, hey, girl, I'm
coming to you as a woman, like, this is crazy, and I just want you to know this because I just matched with Q. Like, it was embarrassing, okay? And it really hurt me, and it scared me. I mean, it triggered so much fear and anxiety in me. So when I brought it to him, I was ready to leave. Like, I was like, I don't even need to tolerate this. These were the moments, especially when I was like, I would rather be single than go through this. And the reason why I thought this was because he would look me in my eye and he'd say, this is not me. And I'm like, can you prove it? He'd open up his phone and Tinder would be gone. Now, I have been shown, you know that saying, if he wanted to, he would? Yeah, that's sweet and everything, but also it could be negative. If he wanted to cheat, he would. If he wanted to lie to you, he would. If he wanted a thing on the side and get away with it and you never find out about it, he would. Like, trust me, these men they smart. Okay? Now, the truth does always come out. I know this because of my long-term relationship. It literally always came out, and it always came out at the right time. Never distrust God's timing. But Quincy would look me in the eye and he would say, this isn't me. And he'd show me proof, like, I don't even have Tinder on my phone. And I would think he could have just like deleted it before he got here. And maybe he just re-downloads it when he goes home. All the things. The overthinking kicked into gear. What did I say about overthinking? You have to stop that habit in its track. It's the anxiety that's holding you back. You are the programmer of your brain. You need to reprogram that shit. It's going to take work and it's going to take time, but I promise you can do it because I did it. Not only this, I was working on me, but I had also laid down the foundation of I'm friends with him. I know when he's lying. I can tell when he's being honest. And I know that I can trust him because I actually know that this dude is a good guy. I've been friends with him for months. I know he's a good person. He doesn't do anything sketchy or shady or weird. Like, he's a good dude. And so he would tell me, and the struggle with me was this fear. You know what was funny? Is my fear was telling me to run. You don't have to deal with this, Alisha. You don't got to deal with someone who's like on Tinder, or even if he's not on Tinder, it's still embarrassing. Like, this is embarrassing. And then my intuition was the quiet one that was like, you can trust him. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to listen to my intuition. I had to like stop the fear, be quiet, think about the situation and not think about the fear. And what was the underlying, the intuition was the underlying feeling beyond the fear. And it was, you can trust him. And so I had to trust him. What was the point of this? This is the way. Oh, okay. So the point is be friends with someone before you take the dating, the relationship plunge. So when you start dating, date for fun. And have your standards so high for you, just like your own worth. It's not, well, don't be like stingy and like, no, it's just you. It's your own value. Have that be so high that when you meet someone who was below that value and you could see it, it's not even worth it. Like, it's literally they're not even worth your time. Okay? And then go to the next one. When you find someone that you do have fun with and it is just fun and it's like lighthearted, then you can continue seeing that person. Do it again. Build a friendship for months. And then, Q and I had an exclusive conversation where I was like, hey, I really like you. I'm not really seeing anyone else and I want to see where this can go. Can we be exclusive? Immediate yes. Slay. If he wanted to, he would. Anyways, okay, that's my advice. My voice is going. This sickness is beating me up. Wait, there's one question that I wanted to wait. There's one. It was kind of like, I don't know if you're throwing shade at me or not. This one's crazy, and I applaud you for the audacity. Do you think you'll ever choose to age gracefully instead of relying on all the injections and treatments you currently do? Or are they mainly done for the purpose of getting paid? So I don't get paid. I do get them for the free skis as long as I share the process with you. Now, even if I didn't get them for the free skis, I promise you I would still be putting some money on the side to go get a little bit of jawline filler and a little bit of Botox simply because I like it. So to answer your question, no, I don't think so. And to me, this is me aging gracefully. It just makes me happy. My grandma has had a facelift. Like, I don't know if that means it runs in the family. Actually, her doing this has nothing to do with whether or not I'm going to do it. But it's also just her mindset of being like, hey, it makes me happy. It makes me feel better. Same thing. So, yeah, no, I don't think so. Now, if I wasn't the reason why you guys see me get a lot of work done is because every time I go in for Botox, I have to share it with you. And if I didn't share it as much, you guys wouldn't think that I'd be getting so much work done. Now, also, I actually don't do as much work as you think I do. And I'm not trying to be defensive or anything, but I'm being so fucking for real. When I do go get work done, I do like very small amounts because I don't want to look crazy. I want to look like a more enhanced version of myself. I want to look like me, but better. So that's why I go in more often, because I'm not getting giant amounts of syringes put in. Now, I don't have any cheek filler anymore. That's definitely gone. That was a 2-time thing, and I was like, I don't like it. Never did it again. Jawline I do love having, because hereditarily, I do not have one of these. Botox, I'm always going to get. I like preventing wrinkles as much as possible. Lip filler, I literally have half a syringe. It is what it is, and that's it. So jaw, lip, Botox, that's it. But you guys think I do more because every single time I go in, I have to share it. Everything else that I've gotten done years ago, that's all been dissolved. So this is the only shit that I have in my face right now. Okay? All right. I don't know if that was shade, but if it was, that was wild. But go off, sis. Like, we love the audacity. Anyways, I love you. Thank you guys for joining this episode. I hope that you liked it. If you have any questions at all, I will leave the form to ask Alisha in the description box. Please be as detailed as possible. Try to keep it kind of short. It's really hard for me to read they're like this long. It's really hard for me to read that in one sitting. Add the details, but try to make it a little bit of a shorter paragraph. I love you so much, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.